And we're live. Welcome back to AFTV for the starting 11, because in 15 minutes we're going to find out who will be starting for Arsenal. And despite the injury crisis, there is debate around quite a few positions. So we're going to go into all that. Will Partey return to right back so that Timber can play centre back? Will Kivior keep his place? Trossard or Martinelli? Does Havertz come out? Does Waneri start? All these questions, even about the midfield, because I thought Jorginho did well the other day, but everyone calls it Italian bias when I say that. So let's go into it. I'm with Charlene. I'm with Christian Ty. Welcome to both. Look, let's not waste any time. Let's just get straight into it. There's quite a few positions that, like I said, despite the injury crisis, can you call it a crisis?
Yes, you can call it a crisis.
I don't know about crisis. You think it's a crisis?
Listen, every single match, my biggest fear is please do not get injured. You know, the moment I see a player go down, my first concern is please, we do not need another player out.
Yeah.
I feel like it is sort of a crisis.
I know what you mean. I feel like because of the players out, it's a crisis. Like Saka being out, obviously Nwaneri's back now, but him going down, Ben White being out, Tomiyasu. But if I look around other teams, then I can see a real crisis. I'm not trying to back these teams up, but like teams like Spurs who have got like
That's
goalkeeper, two main centre backs out. Do you know what I mean? There's like big players out in a lot of positions. Whereas I feel like, yeah, you could call ours a crisis, but we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot of we've had 25 days. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we've had a chance to fix this mini crisis, if you call it, and we just haven't. So that's more of my frustration. But I see both sides.
The injuries are Jesus. We know that's 9 months out. Bukayo Saka's in the middle of a 2-3 month injury after the. It says here thigh injury. It was a hamstring, wasn't it?
Hamstring, yeah.
It was a hamstring tear. Ben White, we know he had surgery. Tomiyasu's got a long-term injury that's kept him out for all but 20 minutes of football this season. William Saliba could be back today. Arteta did say there's a chance that him and Lewis Kelly would be available. I get the impression they're not going to be. He said next week it's looking fine. Lewis Kelly had a jarred knee, but scan said it's nothing serious. So I agree. It's not a crisis because when you can still put out, and I'll make up 11. We can still put out 11 of Raya, Timber, Kivior, Gabriel, Calafiori, Partey, Odegaard, Rice, Trossard, Martinelli, Havertz. I've just made up an 11 there, right? Could easily be that. That doesn't scream injury-plagued 11. I think what it is that this season Arsenal have had injuries compounded in one area of the pitch. So it's like, Saka goes down, does he? Then Waneri, then Jesus. And we already needed something for that position. Mm-hmm. Then you're looking at Declan Rice, toe injury, just the worst time. Can't play away at Inter Milan. Comes back sort of barely fit for the Chelsea game. He's not really looked quite at his best. And you're looking at players like Calafiori, can't get fit. Tomiyasu hasn't been able to come in when Timber's recovering from an ACL. Ben White has been going through knee surgery. So it's always been compounding like one or two key positions.
Odegaard as well.
What's the one area of the pitch we don't have depth for? Odegaard, out for 2 months.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's felt probably harsher than the raw numbers suggest.
It has, 100%. It just feels like, I don't want to talk about luck because this is top level football, but we have been unlucky a lot of the time in terms of the players that we need, the key players. They seem to go down when it comes. Even if you go to the stupid red card rule, 2 yellows for kicking the ball away, that was all on us. Like a lot of it has, felt like it's just been against us this season. But again, I don't want to be making excuses for Arsenal. We didn't do enough in the transfer window. We sound like broken records saying it. If we then capitalised in this transfer window, because look, I don't think Liverpool are that great. I think they're a very good team, but I see frailties in that Liverpool team. And I think if we were to just add, a couple of top players, if we were to do what City are doing, go sign a Marmoush, go sign they need a centre back. They go and sign this Romanian, whoever that guy is. Looks like a top centre back. They know what they need. They address it. Yeah. And also, I feel like a transfer window is one of the main ways you can send a message to fans.
I agree.
A lot of Arsenal fans are so frustrated that we're not acting. Manchester City haven't been good this season.
Yeah.
Their fans are getting frustrated. Their fans are, I wouldn't say starting to turn, but their fans aren't happy. They've gone out in this transfer window, signed probably the most exciting attacker in world football. He's got the highest average rating across Europe's top 5 leagues, Marmoush.
Unbelievable.
Who we was also linked to.
Very high praise there.
No, but in terms of numbers,
talent, but
he has the highest average rating across Europe's top 5 leagues of any attacker.
Yeah.
And he plays for Frankfurt. Imagine him in a Man City team. Imagine him in an Arsenal team. He's a very, very exciting player. And it's just a message to their fans saying, look, we're trying to do something. We know, we understand it hasn't been good enough. And this is what we're giving you. Kyle Walker, cool, he's on his way out. He hasn't been good. We're going to bring in this top prospect. And Arsenal aren't sending that message to their fans, which again just builds more frustration. So
I totally agree with you, Christian. And it makes us question, well, what is our ambition and objectives for this season? You know, like you said, the squad is pretty thin. With Man City, they go out, they get the players that they need, whereas we haven't acted on that. So it's like, well, what are we trying to achieve this season?
I would say that if Arsenal end this window having got exactly who we want, a player that we're all super excited by, and they spent £70 million on him, I think we'll go, you know what, so much time was kind of wasted over January, but if you've come out with the player you really, really want, cool. If we end up with like a Rashford on loan or like a, I don't know, just a £20 million kind of forward just added for the sake of it, oh God, we needed these people. Like,
I know, man.
The decision, what's happening between August when it's deadline day through to January 1st? Like, what are the transfer team doing? I imagine getting everything in place, get everything ready. Yeah, to do a little bit of what City did. I don't want to harp on about it. I think we talked about the window a lot, but it has been disappointing, and it does kind of seep into things like today, because now we're debating who out of our non-right wingers is going to play on the right wing. Martinelli's not right winger, Trossard isn't, Havertz isn't, and Nwaneri is the closest by far, but he's also this season more been the Ødegaard backup, which kind of seems strange to me. So let's try and predict the 11 we're going to get. And there's a comment saying from Egon saying Saliba and Miles Lewis-Skelly are with the squad. I mean, I will double check that, see if something's going around on Twitter, but that is a comment that's just come in, so I thought I'd read it. But let's see if any official confirmation comes out on all that.
Do you know what Saliba's injury is?
I think it was just a slight
thigh
muscle injury.
Yeah.
Thigh
injury, okay, cool.
Okay, build the 11. David Raya will play. What would you do, assuming Saliba's not fit? What would you do? Would you play Partey right back? Would you drop? I hear it.
I was about to say, I'll tell you what I wouldn't do, James, and that's put Partey at right back. How many times have I said to you, I hate it when I see Partey at right back. I just never think we're going to win. I think we've won one game that Partey started at right back, which was the first game of last season against Nottingham Forest, who weren't the same Nottingham Forest that they are now.
We did beat Southampton at home.
Did we beat? They play in that one as well?
Yeah.
All right.
But I think we've lost all other 5.
Lost all other 5.
Wait,
lost or drawn.
Drew against Liverpool, which he played really well.
Yeah, I was going to say you played pretty well in that game.
Yes, but okay, let's just look at recency. The game against Villa, you could pin both goals on him. Maybe the first goal not as much as the second, but the second, he's a midfielder. His natural impetus and thought is to step up. When that ball comes in, the left-footed cross, his thought is to clear out, to play the offside trap. Whereas a natural right back or a natural centre back's thought is, I want to get my head on this. So he steps up, Ollie Watkins peels off 2-2. You could just see he doesn't have the defensive prowess. He doesn't have a defensive mind. He's a player that wants to go forward. He's a player that wants to get on the ball. And you can't put him on right back. It doesn't work.
Versatile. This is what we like. We like versatile players.
I love versatile players, but in my opinion, he's just not a player that should be played at right back.
Yeah.
Let's get your reaction to this, Charlene, because I know you'll be happy about it. William Saliba is with the squad. Simon Collins saying that he thinks Lewis-Skelly is there too. That would be a real boost if we can go out with basically a first choice starting back four.
Absolutely, and that is what we need. You know, Saliba back with Gabriel. I mean, alternatively, if he wasn't available, I'd say Kivior. I think Kivior played pretty well in his position. But I'm happy to hear that Saliba could potentially be back if that is true, and definitely the preferred option. So yeah.
But will it just be on the bench if needed? I don't really know a situation in which you have a centre back on the bench in case you need them. Do you know what I mean? I mean, unless you're trying to see out the game, but
especially with Kivior there.
If he's there, it's because he's fit.
Yeah, but we got Man City next week, which is a big game. So do we risk Saliba? I think Kivior can come in and do a job. He did a job midweek, albeit he did make a big mistake, which they nearly scored from.
But you wonder whether we could rotate for Girona away.
You can do that as well. Knowing Arteta, he likes to give players minutes.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if Saliba starts on the bench, comes on for 10, 15 minutes at the end of this game, starts on the bench against Girona, comes on for half an hour. I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't risk Saliba so quickly after just coming back, especially because we have the depth. It's not like we have no one. We have an international centre-back in Kivior. So I don't think it's going to be a game where we're going to be under the cosh, so to speak. So.
I guess alternatively, even we could give Saliba, if he's fit enough, 60 minutes, and then sub him off after also.
Yeah,
another option.
Depends how fit he is. I don't know. Have you got it? Have you got the?
No, it's not. This is the
Oh,
old 11.
I started getting a bit excited there, thinking,
No, I was just trying to find anything on Saliba and Lewis Skelly I could find. Let's talk about the front three, because as is so typical, you say something on a preview, it goes out as an AFTV clip, and then people are in the comments getting mad about it without having watched the full thing. I said that I understand Kai Havertz has got 2 goals in the last 2 games. It was a lovely assist for Declan Rice too. But I think there's 3 more informed players. Martinelli, Trossard and Nwaneri I just think has to play.
100%.
So I would leave Havertz on the bench. For what it's worth, I don't think he's going to be on the bench. Arteta's going to play him. Yeah. That is genuinely the approach I'd go. I'd play Trossard false 9. And people are saying, we've never really seen that. He's never really that good there. I think it's complete nonsense. Whenever he's played as a false 9, Arsenal play some of the most fluid football. I remember a run of 7 wins in a row, I think. He didn't play every game as a false 9 in that run. This was in the 22-23 season. He's looking really good there. Last season he played a couple games there, got a goal, and he's really good at dropping in, adding a 4th midfielder there, helping Arsenal dictate the game, adding some creativity a bit more centrally. I don't know, that's the approach I'd go, but I know Arteta won't. He'll play Havertz.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with that selection from you, James. I appreciate your opinion, but I just prefer Trossard off the bench. I feel like he's so much more effective.
Yeah.
I feel like he will play in games, have a good performance, then he will get a start, and I just feel like the quality drops off a little bit. So my preferred choice for Trossard is always to just have him on the bench.
I hear
he's
that.
an amazing player, but I just prefer him to just build up that anger and that hunger on the bench, then he comes on the pitch and then he fires.
You want to wind him up, basically.
Yeah. You know, Arteta did say he does like to moan a bit. So let him stay on the bench, moan. So when he comes on the pitch, he's hungry.
Would you drop Havertz?
I see the argument for it. He has. The bottom line is he scored 2 and 2. I think the argument again is he could have more. You want your striker to be your most exciting player, right? If you look around Europe,
one of them at least.
At least one of them, and Havertz isn't. He could have 5 goals in his last 2 games. He could have 7 goals in his last 3 games. That's again one of the bottom lines. I don't know if I'll drop him. I'll play Ethan on the right. I'm 100% about that. I think Martinelli's been good in our last couple of games. I'll play him on the left. And if it is Trossard in the false 9, I'm not going to be upset. If it is Havertz, again, I won't be upset.
It will not be. It will be Kai. And especially because the last 2 goals, Arteta definitely won't drop him.
Yeah.
But it should be Trossard for me. I actually think Martinelli on the right, Trossard on the left.
You don't think Ethan will start?
Really?
No, I don't think. I think Arteta will. I think he'll take the easy way out, which is say, well, the 17-year-old can hold the bench for 3 players that you could argue all in form right now. Yeah. He'll play Martinelli on the right. Martinelli might struggle, and then we're all sat there going, okay, yeah, you know. I thought Martinelli looked good the other night. The way I see it is, like for example here, Arsenal Avenger with a comment says, "Come on, James," some laughing emojis, and he's gone Nwaneri, Havertz, Trossard. But then I'm going, well, come on, Arsenal Avenger, you've just dropped Martinelli after his best performance of the season. Yeah. And he got a goal against Villa, and he looked really lively the other night too. Why would we? I don't know. Of all the forwards, I know you can talk about the goals Kai scored, but I think he looks the least comfortable right now in what we're trying to do in the final third.
Yeah.
He looks the least kind of like the hold-up play is not quite there. He's not winning all his aerial duels. Okay, he scored 2. Let's not go over all the chances he's missed across January.
Not even just chances.
They were having a completely different conversation.
The Aston Villa game, in the second half especially,
Dribbling
every time he got on the
space,
ball, my God. I was here on the watch-along. Turkish was, if he had any hair, he'd be pulling it out. And
Turkish has got hair. It's just that he hides it.
He's got hair in his beard. But no, every time he got on the ball in that second half, he was falling over his own feet. He was misplacing passes. And the level of him on the ball and dribbling wasn't good enough. I don't want to go too hard on him, but even the finish was straight at the keeper. It came off the keeper's leg. So, I don't know. I agree with you that he's, in my opinion, he's the least exciting player out of the front line.
Here's some big news. In from Team News and Ticks on his Patreon, Erdegaard is ill, so Nwaneri is going to play. So it will probably be all 3 of Havertz, Martinelli, Trossard. Sterling is on the bench. Lewis Skelly and Saliba do start. And credit to Hand of Ozil, who's posted it's a TikTok of Saliba. So I think that's him telling us that Saliba is starting this game. Some positive news. and some slightly concerning news. We'll go through the 11 in just a sec. Some super chats have flown in. Alex says, afternoon team, at least this time there'll be no trouble with Wolves throwing missiles at our players like on Wednesday. I say 3-1 Arsenal.
Yeah,
Idris says,
awful.
yeah, it's really, come on, like 2025 and all that. Idris says, James, I hate this 4-3-3 formation with 2 8s without a 10, but then we don't have a player in the profile of a 10 in the team anyways, like Palmer. Do you know, that's why I know he's 18 and I don't know how good he is, but that's why I quite like this Sver Nipan links we were trying to sign, because he is, I think, a profile midfielder we need, whether he's ready or not. Tony says, I thought Saliba was out until just before City. Well, we're going to find out any second now. But I think we can pretty much...
Oh, get the team.
Yeah, here we go.
Yep.
Got it.
All right, the 11 to face Wolves. Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly. So the whole back four is restored. Partey and Rice with Waneri. So team using ticks were spot on. Martinelli on the right, Havertz up front, Trossard on the left. The bench of Neto, Porter, Kivior, Calafiori, Tierney, Zinchenko, Jorginho, Sterling, and Butler, Oyadeji. So,
I like it.
Well, with the options available, I think that's for sure the best 11. To have Saliba and Lewis Skelly back is a real boost. But Martin Odegaard out, we really can't catch a break. It is just relentless. He wasn't well enough to start the Brighton game either a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah, it's been really stop-start for poor Odegaard. It means Marte's moved to the right. I don't think he's a right winger. I think he looks uncomfortable out there. But hopefully what momentum he's got and confidence he can carry into this. I think he is quite good at taking on his fullback. So maybe out on his right foot, he can have some comfort there. Especially if they play wing backs. There's every chance they're caught up the pitch. There's some space for Martin to exploit. But Waneri in midfield.
Yes, I'm super happy that Waneri is starting. Ideally, my preferred choice would be to have him obviously on that right-hand side. But considering the circumstances with Odegaard being sick, we have to play him, in a different position. But I'm happy that he's starting. He's just such a bright young talent. And I keep saying this each and every time. And it's like the more and more he plays, is just the more you see how amazing he is. Even in the game during the week as well. He played so well, so I'm happy that he's starting.
Two teenagers in there.
I know.
Skelly and Waneri. It's only just dawned on me.
Literally.
I don't want to sign another one.
I mean, Arteta did say as well that we would be looking to see what our options are available before we go out and buy, and it seems, that's the approach that we are taking.
Internal solutions.
Yeah, exactly. But I must say, a big credit to our young talents because they play with so much confidence and they do deliver. So amazing work from them.
I was going to ask about the Wolves team. Couldn't you?
Yeah, I'm going to read that. Yeah, I'll read that.
That's who we'll all be looking out for.
So, Sarr in goal, and it is a back five with Semedo and Aït-Nouri as the wing backs. Doherty, Bueno, and Agbadou are the three centre backs. Joe Gomez and Andre Joe Gomez in central midfield together with Sarabia and Cunha behind Strand Larsen. So, well balanced team. Sarabia and Cunha can definitely make things happen. Strand Larsen, I haven't really followed him too closely, but I think he's made a decent start to Premier League life.
Yeah. Two
central midfielders I like, and those wing backs, Semedo and Aït-Nouri, can hurt you. And whenever you're playing a back three, it's going to be difficult to break that kind of team down. I think they're a side, Wolves, that will be compact, difficult to beat. They've got moments in them with those players I mentioned. They could bring Guedes off the bench. They've got Bellegarde as well. Hwang, he can come on as well. We know he's scored goals in the Premier League. So there's
there's quality in that team.
So
say what you want
they
about
shouldn't
Wolves,
be where they are on the table.
Absolutely not. 17th in the league, really struggling. But definitely quality. Cunha speaks for himself. Sarabia, top player. I think they got it from PSG, didn't they? Semedo, obviously, ex-Barcelona player. Doherty, ex-Spurs. Aït-Nouri, this guy at left back is probably their standout player, even more than Cunha.
He's class.
Wouldn't surprise me if he got a big move in the summer. So definitely quality in their team. I just think maybe their coaching this season hasn't quite been up to it. Maybe the way they've been set up, but they beat Man United a couple of weeks ago. Maybe not the hardest game to win, but they still did. So. Yeah, we've got to be wary.
Really good question from Chidi Andy says, where is Marino?
He's not even on the bench.
Yeah, he's not.
Nope. That's a very, very, very good point.
Could that be illness also?
Yeah, it could be.
Tomiyasu on the bench?
Nope.
Tomiyasu is injured.
Nor is Ben White.
Huh.
Let me see. Typing Marino into Twitter should tell me something.
What made you ask that? Is Tomiyasu back from injury?
No, I thought I saw his name.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I think he's. They're always close, aren't they?
Nothing at the moment, but of course we will let you know in the next couple of minutes if we do hear anything about that, if anything comes through. If not, we will be live 15 minutes before kickoff, and of course reacting to every kick of a ball on the watch along. We should have some news from Mikel Arteta directly on Ødegaard and Marino. But those are the teams. Let's go through some super chats and comments. Sile says potential 4th trophyless season would be crazy. Yeah, it would be disappointing. Well, I'll comment more if that's cemented. But at the moment, we've done a lot of this season as Arsenal fans. I can't be bothered to keep commenting on what might happen and the likely. Okay, it's likely we don't win a trophy this season. But I'm going to sit here and talk about everything I feel about the idea of not winning a trophy when we don't know we're not going to yet.
Yeah.
Bournemouth just won 4-1 at Newcastle. I don't think we're going to go to Newcastle and win, but it's possible. The Champions League, we've never won it. First time for everything. Who knows? Why not, right? It's not always the best team that wins that. And the Premier League, we keep, ballsing it up with performances like Villa and dropping 2-0 leads. And we should be sitting here going, well, we're 4 points behind Liverpool, not we're 6. But you keep plucking away and hoping. Yeah. I just can't be able to keep sitting here going, yeah, so, would you sack him if we don't win anything? It's well, that's a valid question, but we asked it 2 months ago.
I know.
Now he's not going anywhere. We know that. So let's just see how the season plays out, and then we'll review it all. We'll see what we did in January. We'll see how the injuries were. We'll see what we did in the Cup, see how far we got. And then we'll see who's on the market. Then I'll make a decision about whether I want Arteta there or not.
For sure.
For me, that's how it should go. But
we're just in that annoying, polarizing place where I just understand every argument at this point.
Yeah, I understand every argument for sure. I just can't afford to have them.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. It is kind of the same thing where I want to see the positives. I want to look at it and say, oh, yeah, we could do it at Newcastle. Oh, why can't we win the Champions League? Oh, if Liverpool drop points. But then we draw against Villa and I'm like, we're dropping points. We're the problem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we're the ones that lost 2-0 to Newcastle. So I see both sides. It's the whole season is just on a knife edge every single game. One good performance, like the performance against Spurs or the result against Spurs, and we're kind of getting back on side. We're kind of oh yeah, why not? Why not? We could do it. Mm-hmm. And then you get the result against Villa, and it's okay, we're on that side of it. And then you see that there's no activity in the transfer window, and then you're leaning more that way. But then there's a 3-0 win in the Champions League, so you lean a little bit more that way. It kind of just is that.
It just
and that's
feels
just
so
the reality
volatile.
of an Arsenal fan right now, yeah.
Literally, so volatile.
Yeah,
it's you get put on this massive pedestal, okay, yep, we are going to do something amazing, and then the next game it all just drops off again.
Definitely.
So.
Jeremy makes a good point. We are 1 injury away from Tierney starting as a winger. Do you know what I'd say? This kind of ties in nicely to the Matheus Cunha stuff. He's starting against us today. There have been rumours, there have been reports. There's been more rumours recently that actually a move could happen. I always thought he was going to play. And I always thought, and I still think, he's going to give us his best today. I just think he's going to want to kind of make up for the kind of noise after Monday at the bridge. And was there some criticism about him not thanking the fans? But I think some people said it wasn't true. I haven't really paid too much attention to that. But you're then in this situation where either he signs his new deal at Wolves and he's got to do everything he can to keep them up and be a hero, and then maybe in the summer gets the move he wants. Or there is a move for him, in which case turn up and don't down tools and show it. Now, I just think whatever way you look at it, we're getting the best version of Cunha today. I think he's going to try and really show up. And
yeah, I mean, any top professional, if this is a guy that Arsenal want to sign, I don't want to see a player that gives up in a game for his team at any point. I remember wasn't there a point where we had Oxlade-Chamberlain and he was going to join Liverpool, and we played him against Liverpool.
Yeah,
and he didn't show up. Yeah. He just
You're
didn't
right.
put 100% in.
To be fair, we were shit that day.
We were awful. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
But I think that's the only example I can think of where a player was going to sign. But a player like Cunha, he's going to want to show his quality. He's not going to want to put in a stinker of a performance. And I don't think the manager would have picked him if there was any glimpse or any sign that he was going to do anything like that. So, look, knowing Arsenal's luck, he'll have a blind day and he'll score a hat-trick today.
Oh, don't say that, Christian.
You know what I mean? Look, yeah, if like I said, if he is a player that we're going to sign, I don't want to see a player that's given up just for a move. I want to see a player that puts it in. I want to see a player that performs. Yeah.
I don't.
Pause.
Yeah, I think he'll be on fire today. Cunha, is that a player you'd like at Arsenal?
Absolutely. I mean, we need someone in. He's got that
70
versatility.
million, that's what they're saying.
But when you look at the options that are available and the price tags that they come with, to be fair, I guess we're just moving in line with inflation, ain't we?
70 million now is like what 40 million was maybe 10 years ago.
Exactly.
But it still feels that I'm still a little bit 5 years behind in my kind of pricing of players, where I'm like, I still don't know if 70 million should ever be a fee you spend on anything other than a player you are desperate to add to your team. Yeah. That's just how it feels to me. Then you can go up to 50 million and you've got a player there that's like, yeah, good, very good, you know, maybe a very good squad player, maybe just a good addition. But I think you're going to 70. I just think if Arsenal are going to potentially sanction that deal, they need to look at it and go, and by the way, I don't begrudge Wolves wanting that. That's fine. That's one of their best players, and I get it. They spent 50 themselves on him. But I think if Arsenal are going to part with that cash, I think they need to go, do we actually think for the next year and a half, 2.5 years, whatever it might be, that he's going to play a major part in this team? Yeah. And I think it's okay to get the odd big money signing wrong. And I'm not saying we got Havertz wrong before you all get on to me.
No, we did.
But I lean more towards, yes, we could have done more with those funds. But he's also been better than I thought. So cool. And he started up front in the run and scored loads of goals. I get all that. But I don't think you can have too many £65 million players that you're not that sure of in terms of where they play in the team, in terms of what their role is, do they even start in your best 11, all these things. And I think Cunha maybe this season comes in and basically deserves to start. But I think by the summer, if we do what we're meant to do in the summer window, I think there's every chance that we're already going, well, he's a £70 million squad player.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think Arsenal are the kind of club that signs £70 million squad players. We signed Havertz for 65 million and we haven't signed another expensive attacker since, and it seems like our hands are kind of tied in terms of spending that money on attackers. But just a question, does Cunha really excite you as a fan? Because why can't we go and spend that on Gyökeres? Gyökeres has a release clause now of like 75, 80 million. That's a player that really excites me.
I think
because I don't even know where Cunha plays. Does he play in the middle? Does he play on the left? Does he play as a 10th?
He's versatile.
Very versatile.
Yeah. So
I really like him, but I don't know if I love the player.
That's the thing.
I really like the player, but I don't know if I love the player.
Go and get a player that we love. Go and get a Kudus, who I know a lot of fans would love. Go and get a Gyökeres. If you have to wait till the summer, go and get the Isak. I don't think we can get Isak, but surely that profile of like an Alexis Sanchez, do you know what I mean? Someone where everyone is on board with it. Mm-hmm. Everyone is kind of revitalised and goes, oh, Arsenal got that guy. So like who I think Zubamendi could be in the summer. Like someone like that where it's like, oh, they pulled out that profile. Okay, Arsenal are moving in those ways.
So as a fan, would you be patient then and not mind having any business done in this transfer window?
No,
I do mind.
Signing?
I do mind. So it's just being mindful of who we are as Arsenal. Because I know as a fan, if we signed 70 million Cunha, I don't think we'd then go and sign a 80, 90 million pound striker in the summer. I think it's like one or the other. And for me, if I had the choice, I would wait for the Gyökeres in the summer or the Isak in the summer, if that's possible, rather than getting Cunha in now and not getting anyone in the summer. I don't think we have the capacity to do both. Exactly. I hope we do, but I just don't feel like we do.
So then if that is the case, then we get that big signing in the summer. What's your expectations for this transfer window?
We're just going to have to hold it, aren't we?
Academy.
Internal solutions.
Our young talents.
I mean, this is one way to look at it from Jalen. He says, Cunha's the biggest we could get in January. Sesko could arrive in the summer. And I think the point there is, do you ultimately just get the best player that's potentially available in this window? And it's hard to know who is. I mean, this super chat from Tony says Gyökeres wouldn't be able to play in the Champions League, which I don't think is actually true.
Yeah,
but
I think you can play in the knockouts, can't you?
Is that what it is, right?
I heard someone say, I'm not 100%. I'm sure someone else might know.
It doesn't make sense to play in the league phase for two different clubs. But I think the knockouts, once you get a transfer, I think is fair.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it kind of rules out a lot of January, the point of a lot of January signings.
Exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, all right, we're going to leave it there. Reminder of the 11s. Arsenal start with Raya in goal. Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Lewis Skelly. some really positive news in terms of our back four, and it's 2 teenagers starting because one area comes in for the ill Martin Odegaard with Partey and Rice starting in midfield, Martinelli on the right, Havertz up front, and Trossard on the left. The Wolves 11 I have lost, but from memory it was Sarr in goal, Semedo Aït-Nouri as wing backs with I'm gonna have to find it. I think it was Agbadou, Doherty, and Bueno at centre back.
Nice.
Gomez and Lamina in midfield. Sarabia, Strand Larson, Cunha. I did okay. All right, everyone, we're going to leave it there. Big thanks for joining us. We'll be back in 45 minutes with 15 minutes to go to kick off. We'll be reacting to, like I said, everything that happens in the game. It's Wolves versus Arsenal. It's another chance at just 3 points. Keep building momentum. See what happens. Anyway, and we're going to keep an eye on Cunha. Please don't be too good. Anyway, catch you all in a bit.